Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my F124 My Team Career Mode. We arrive at Miami for round 6 and back-to-back sprint races in this season's career mode. If you haven't seen the previous one, that previous sprint episode, go check it out. The Chinese Grand Prix linked in the top right of your screen. As always, go watch it. Spoiler warning ahead. So this is your chance to go click off the video now and see what happened. Anyway, let's talk about that previous event. So it wasn't the best weekend for us. As you saw at the end of the episode, we inherited some R&D points because we DNF'd. Now this weekend, we have no rain forecast besides the very end of the race. So a dry weekend ahead of us and looking to hopefully bounce back from that DNF. We have one of two upgrades on the car. The aerodynamic upgrade arriving, but the chassis one failing. So we'll take care of that in just a bit. And yeah, besides that, the main thing to note here, there's not a ton of development going on. I've seen the comments. You guys have mentioned that I need to change my team color for my R&D graph line to become visible. So I'll take care of that for the next episode and get that sorted out. So in the meantime, let's get through this and let's get a few things straight. Now, of course, we've had a bit of an issue with the reliability of the car. And in the previous episode, we had some trouble, which does mean in the championship we're 4th. Carlos Sainz leads the way, we're 5th in the constructors, and to be fair, it's still not a really bad situation. It's still looking pretty decent, but we have won 2 races, and that's absolutely insane. Now you can see so far we've lost a gearbox and we've now lost an MGUK. So it's not exactly ideal, and that's a bit of a problem. So we're going to take a brand new MGUK for this race and hopefully get back onto normal proceedings and hopefully things go as planned. So 2 wins, 2 DNFs and a P3 in the first race in Bahrain. Very much up and down, topsy-turvy.
Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done.
Now practice went well. We had average tyre wear, average fuel consumption, not particularly great in any area or bad, just average. Either way, the car feels okay to me. The setup from SRC feels very nice around here and definitely helps. The inherent issue here is that the AI are just very strong in sectors 1 and 3 and they're absolutely terrible in sector 2. So we finished practice in 18th. Surprisingly, Jamie Chadwick up in P11. That's the highest she's finished in practice, and she's also been racking up those R&D points recently as well. So there are some signs of progress, and I want to just see how she develops throughout the year. I'm in no rush to sign a new driver, so let's just see how things go throughout the races. We pick up a few discounts, not many, as there was only 1 practice session. We also gain a marginal bit of acclaim, but generally not much to note as we now jump into the one-shot qualifying shootout.
It is driver versus stopwatch. It is a venue that is new to Formula One in recent years, but you have to dance the car to the edge. It is Miami, it is qualifying. Who will take the pole?
well, there we go. P10, not too bad, not too bad. At one point we was leading into the third sector, but we just lost a little bit in that last corner. P10 though, you can see Leclerc sticks it on pole in the one-shot sprint shootout. And yeah, generally no complaints, very good session. I'll take that. That's a good baseline for the race. Jamie Chadwick, P11, 7/10 off us, so not a million miles away, but still a bit of a return to form for her in what has been a disappointing season so far. So yeah, job done for us in this one, and it's really important that we maximize the sprint, because as you saw in the last episode in China, we just missed out on the points in the sprint at the last hairpin on the last lap, and of course we DNF'd in the race, so we missed out on a potential point. So every point matters, especially when reliability is an issue. So hopefully we can get a decent sprint race underneath our belt before the main race and the main qualifying. Either way, job done in the shootout.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Perez, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Martinez, Albon, Stroll, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Gasly, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Magnussen, Joe, Chadwick, and Logan Sargent. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
So here we go then. It's time for the sprint. Now, as you know, as you saw last time in China, we had a very, very close finish in the sprint. We almost got a point. We finished in P9. So we're going to try and hopefully get that top 8 finish today if possible. Although I feel like my pace might be a bit worse than China. I just hope the car holds up in terms of reliability. If we're going to have a failure, I'd rather it be now than in the main race. So let's see how this all shakes out. I really don't know what to expect. Hopefully, a good start. I kind of put myself in a bit of a dodgy position here. And we're going to crank it up to hot lap for the start. The grid box just kind of surprised me. Caught me a little bit earlier than I expected. Anyway, into turn 1, 3 wide. We're going to...
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
We're going to go through a little bit of contact on the way through, I think, with Albon, as now Perez and Sainz go side by side here. But crucially, we also managed to get in front of Alonso. Oh, that's a lot of understeer. Albon has a look up the inside. If you just run a bit wide through that long left, then you know, if you open up the corner too much, the game is going to punish you with understeer. There's just no grip on the outside. Albon to the right. That Williams, of course, very quick on the straight. Huge battle ahead here, though. 3 wide between Verstappen, Piastri, and Hamilton, I believe. This is allowing Leclerc to just break away out front, as now everybody falls into single file, heading through the chicane. Just want to be patient here, play the long game, and see if we have any pace. Usually, I've not been the quickest around this track. We tend to kind of, you know, hide a lot of our issues with that sector too, especially the super slow chicane. But the rest of the track, generally, we tend to be slow. So I want to see how this all pans out as we head on to lap 2. DRS will now be enabled. Holding on DRS will be critical. I think we'll be quicker later with a bit more tyre wear.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Or at least historically we have been. Anyway, for now, batteries are a bit low, so we've got to try and get by. Early signs, I think we've got a good setup. I think the car is, I'd say, nicely balanced for this track. I've been able to hang on quite comfortably here and actually not burn too much battery, and I reckon I can probably save a bit more if I'm a little bit more efficient with my battery deployment. So let's see how this all kind of just ticks over the next few laps. This is going to be a tactical sprint, and hopefully if we're on a pack at the end, we can make something happen. Right, decent so far. We've managed to drop Albon to over a second. I think he's still... Actually, no, I don't think he'll get DRS. I think he was out. So I think, yeah, we have managed to drop him, which is good. I'm struggling with the battery. It's like we're hitting a harvesting limit. It's not letting me save any more charge. So we're just not able to get any battery on side. I'm basically using everything on the main straight after this one. So the first big DRS zone straight. But then I try to charge, but I seem to hit a charge limit in that second part of the lap. And we might get dropped out of DRS range here. Sainz had a very good opening part of the lap. This is where I lose time. I'm just not that quick through the S's. I'm not that confident. And it's this corner here where I just seem to bleed time to the AI. Yep, there we go. I think we might have snuck back in. Nope, no DRS. We should be able to catch up though for the slow bit, but we have to be better in that first sector. They're battling really heavy ahead here, so we're going to be definitely in the fight at the end of this thing, especially because we're so strong through the middle part of the lap in the slow bit. We'll be quick at the end and we'll be close for the last straight, so we'll definitely have a shot here, but it's going to be a race of, you know, we'll pick something up at the end. They're battling all the way here, so they're not running a particularly strong pace. Leclerc's completely gone, so at the minute I'm just trying to charge really as much as possible, but that's proving to be quite difficult at the moment, and I'm just trying to get as much as possible back for the end. My guess, my prediction, is that the power unit is going to hold up in this, so another reason why we need to try and grab a few points, because, you know, it might let me down in the race, put it that way. So we need to be smart about this and be ready. We're finally, you know, getting the battery now that we've figured it out. We're hitting the harvest maximum rate before the lap ends, hence why we get no charge in the second part of the lap. So we will get a full charge for the last lap of the race, or last lap and a half.
Caution, caution.
Oh, here we go. Yellow in front. I think it's Leclerc. Race leader. I'm pretty sure it's Leclerc. I just saw him slow down. Yes, it is. Look at that. Engine up in smoke. So that already gives us a point. Leclerc had this sprint wrapped up. So now we've got a chance of maybe bagging a few more and making Ferrari's day even worse. This whole train of cars now is a battle for the race win, or the sprint win specifically. So this could get ugly. I might see if I can pass Sainz. We've got a decent charge and we won't get to use 100% of the battery on the last lap, so we might as well drain a little bit now. Sainz is derating. Now he's burning, and now he's derating again. Up the inside we go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ooh. I've never seen that before. Well, that's going to be our sprint. But we get a bonus position from Perez having a spin. I'll take Sainz out of the running. I mean, if we can catch these guys by the end of the lap, I'd have a go, but I don't think it's likely, although they are battling. Oh my god, this race is completely blown up at the end. Track limits. They are battling ahead here. We might close in if they lose a bit of time through here. They have gone single file. If they'd gone too wide, it might have just opened up the door for us. So I think we're a bit too far back to benefit and capitalise. Looks like George Russell's going to pick up the sprint win. And it looks like Verstappen's going to get second place. And up ahead we've got the battle for the podium places, which is going to go 3 wide. We're just a bit too far back, I think. Yeah, just a bit too far back. It's going to be Piastri, Hamilton to the line. I think Hamilton's going to take it, and we'll finish in P6.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
What an explosive sprint, especially at the end there. Things really, really kicked off. And to be fair, we got a couple of nice last-minute gifts with Leclerc and Perez having trouble. So we finish in P6, and I'll take that. That is some lovely, lovely points. Mercedes, a double top 3 with Russell first, Hamilton third, McLaren miss out, Verstappen with the split, and both Astons in the top 8. Anyway, job done. Let's go into the regular qualifying, which of course is another one-shot qualifying, and then we're going to jump into the main event.
It is driver versus stopwatch. It is a venue that is new to Formula One in recent years, but you have to dance the car to the edge. It is Miami. It is qualifying. Who will take the pole?
That's a real shame. P21, that's a massive error at the end of the straight, running super deep. And unfortunately, we tried to pull it back. I started to overdrive a little bit. We out-qualified Jamie Chadwick, who has a pretty poor qualifying, nowhere near as good as a sprint relative to the rivals. But it's a back row for us. Really disappointing. And looking at the gaps, I think P10 was easily going to be our finishing position without the mistake. There's a massive gap there between Sainz in P9, Ocon in P10. So I definitely think somewhere off, like 7/10 off P1 would have been the final finishing position. Either way, it's going to be a tough race. Uphill climb. We're going to have to fight back and give it everything. Let's do this.
F1 seems to be growing by the day in the USA, and today's race is a testament to that. It's time for the Miami Grand Prix. Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I am sure it's one which will please the fans. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Oscar Piastri, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Ocon, Magnussen, Stroll, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Gasly, Albon, Hulkenberg, Russell, Joe, Sargent, Bottas, Martinez, Chadwick, and Charles Leclerc completes today's grid order. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. We welcome to the commentary box Anthony Davidson. I'm Alex Jakes. We're both looking forward to a really intriguing race today. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Now, this hasn't been the weekend so far that I'd hoped for in terms of pace. The sprint, we did a good job of, masking the issues. The AI battled a lot. We managed to stay with the train, break away from the cars behind, and at the end pick something up. Now for this one, we're going to have to grit our teeth and get through it. Now, we're going to, of course, change approach for this because the qualifying did not go to plan. Big mistake down into the heavy braking zone before the low speed complex. And we're going to start on hards. We're going to try and make them work for two reasons. One, it gives us a better race strategy in terms of hopefully fighting at the end. If we get in a couple of places and stick with the train in the first stint, then that's a good thing. And then we can just push in the mediums in the final part of the race. The other thing is that little bit of rain, which the forecast is on approximate. So if it does arrive earlier, there's a chance, based off the tyre wear being very conservative on the hards, we could just go straight to inters and pick a very good strategy to get something at the end and pull off a bit of a miracle. So fuel, I'm going for 29 laps on the nose, no more, no less, which should hopefully bleed into that rain at the end quite nicely. We should have perfect fuel. So anyway, let's get straight to work and let's see what happens. Formation lap, critical to get some temperature, and then first few laps to stick with the train, stick with the traffic, and then hopefully start to make our way through, also critical. Anyway, let's get to work. Great formation lap, excellent temperatures. This would hopefully help us out, get a good start. Leclerc being on mediums behind is interesting. He might, cause a bit of chaos, open some gaps, create some overtaking opportunities for us. So he'll be one to watch. Anyway, let's get to work. Lights on for the second time. This time the full race. Away we go. Bogged down a little bit, but actually...
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Not a bad start. We've got Hulkenberg here on the hard tyres, who I'll pass as he's a direct rival. And we're going to try and get through on Zhou. He's going to keep his nose stuck into the chicane. So we're going to have to scrap this out. But we're going to go through. And now maybe up the inside of Sargent here through the long left-hander. There we go. Ricciardo on hards as well, just in front of George Russell. So another potential rival we need to try and get past. But a really good start. P16. Exactly what we had to do, if not better than I predicted or expected. Now into the slow section. Russell, Ricciardo going for it. Just trying to find the line here. We might have to sit in behind and wait. They're going to go side by side through the chicane, so let's just see. You can just tell they're struggling to get through there. We're going to set up the exit. Russell gets through. Long straight. Let's just be patient here. We're going to get a nice slipstream, whatever way we choose. Ricciardo going back through now. Russell pulls back ahead, and now Russell derates. I think Russell might get the traction here and go through. I want to try and follow him if possible.
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled.
Ricciardo's really getting his elbows out here. He tried to put the squeeze on, but we just barged through. No contact. Ricciardo just gets out of the way, and crucially, we're going to have a nice bit of DRS here on Russell for this next straight. So we're not going to be left high and dry, left hanging. So P15, brilliant start, exactly what we had to do. Now then, let's keep it up, let's keep it rolling, and let's try and catch back up to that bunch of cars ahead. Verstappen's on the breakaway out front on his own. So right now we've got a battle for second place up ahead. Zhou, Ricciardo battling. This could cost them DRS. This might already give us a break. So essentially no pressure from behind, we can just drive and push, and I think we've got it. We've managed to break DRS. Huge. More breaks ahead. McLaren's getting away out front as well. Oh, I think I maybe got dropped there. Yes, I did. Lost DRS. I was hanging on for dear life. Right. Let's keep it rolling. Not the end of the world. We should be able to catch up through here. Just got to make sure I keep it tidy. Albon's making his car super wide. He's got two Mercs trying to get through. Looks like Russell's going to be the one to get the jump on his teammate. And Albon, by the looks of it, can see on the mini-map there's a massive break ahead of cars, so top 4 are gone. So this is now a P5 train. Got that completely wrong. Whoops. Just completely misjudged my braking point. And under some pressure now from Joe, who's looking for a pass on the outside. I'm going to just outbrake him here into turn 1. Not fully comfortable on these tires yet, but we're just trying to hang on really and just fight with what we've got. We are going to lose DRS though on Hamilton for this back straight, which isn't going to help unless we absolutely nail this section, which, to be fair, that's one of my better S's. It's this corner here where we lose, but we've actually got ourselves in quite comfortably. So Albon definitely not very quick right now. That's a big surprise. And we've got a potential DNF in front, I want to say. Yes, it is. Yuki Tsunoda. We'll take that. Hamilton through in the yellow flag zone, but the AI don't get punished for yellow flag overtakes. Looks like no safety car or VSC from that either. So really now we need to be looking at passing Albon here. I might try and get him now. I want to stick with the Mercedes cars because they'll be a good car to follow. Used all my battery. Albon now with a bit of a flash. We'll force him defensive. We'll just go around the outside and use momentum, use the wider line. There we go, we get it on the traction. Shut the door in his face, although now I'm completely sold short on battery, so we're going to have to really fight in this first sector to keep up with the silver arrows. Oh, the car is whooshing, washing, floating. We're going to have to nail the S's again to get close. Not bad, but we're definitely not gaining as much as we were last lap. Lots of front wash. I think we lost DRS again there by the slightest of margins. No, this time we got it. Oh, huge. Right. Let's catch them up. Hamilton is going to get past Pierre Gasly there around the outside of the last corner. So Russell got through, Hamilton got through, and now it's our turn. Pierre Gasly slowing in the Alpine. We want to stick with the Mercedes because they're running a good pace. They're going to take us to the next group of cars, which has, I think, I want to say Esteban Ocon and one of the Haas cars, probably Magnussen. Gasly flashing here. We're going to go straight up the inside and make a nice easy pass. So let's just keep this rolling. It's a good plan of attack for the race, just using the 2 silver arrows to drag us up on these tyres. Our pace is actually a bit better than the sprint. I went up on the wing on my setup for the qualifying. So we're a little bit slower in the straights, but we're better, as you saw in that first sector, and we're able to just keep the pace up a little bit easier. So we're looking a bit stronger so far. Ah, damn. Dropped out of range. I was going to get dropped out anyway, but that definitely confirmed it. But the Mercs will likely catch the next group of cars and they'll lose time or bow. So we should be able to keep up. There's Charles Leclerc. He's also made his way through. Not as quickly as me, but he's getting there. As we just tap the back of Hamilton there. He'll probably undercut us when the medium runners pit onto hards, but realistically we're not really battling with Charles Leclerc anytime soon. So we're still, you know, our race is with Ocon, who's just in front, Magnussen. Those are going to be our targets. I think a points finish is definitely possible today. Leclerc might have a little look here. I mean, I'm not too concerned if he does go. I mean, we're in a different race to him right now. Like I said, I think he'll pass us even when he boxes. He will undercut us under hards and get ahead. So just playing the long game right now. I'm trying to save my tyres a little bit in case we can go long and maybe go all the way to the rain as well. That's a possible option, but no word, no radio.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected.
And still
seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
And still no update regarding that rain. So at the moment, I'm going to treat this as a regular dry race. So we're going to box around lap 17 probably. Extend maybe, always an option, which I like to do. But We'll see what our pace is looking like. Cars are in though. Verstappen the first one to box. Let's see if anybody else follows. I think a McLaren and Aston, and there go Leclerc and Hamilton. So now we're going to have to burn to try and maybe get DRS.
The pit window and you're going to be on mediums.
I'd like to try and get DRS off George, but I think the gap might be a bit too big. Again, Magnussen's our target. Now seeing that he's on hard tyres as well, even more so. So we've got to try and get him. I'm actually catching Russell through here, but this is the trouble corner. Touch the white line, run a bit wide, and you just get understeer. The AI don't get that. So no DRS for now. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's happened again. Well, I know it's a thing. I know it's a thing. But if I turn the failures off, that's also not realistic. I enjoy this, even though it hurts. But this is bugged. It's 100% bugged. It happens every time, without failure.
He has left the field behind. It is victory for Max Verstappen.
A great display of dominance today by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they've secured here.
So, I mentioned it in the sprint. Very critical that we got those points in the sprint because I feared this might happen. And to be fair, objectively speaking, I don't think any more than P9 was possible in this race. And I'll look now if it rained, but it would have only been 2 points. Hence why those sprint points are really key. Hence why last episode we had to get them. Anyway, ramble aside, one thing to note. I am not going to turn failures off for one reason. I'm doing this also as research because I want to send all of this to Codemasters to fix this issue for once and for all. So I want to see if the issue fixes itself. If we just have failure every single race, then we know there's a bug. And I can send that to them. I don't want to change anything. I want to just see if the game naturally resolves it. So apologies if this frustrates you, but I'm doing this for the sake of having a better game. So hopefully you understand. Anyway, race done. A frustrating weekend, but we do get some points, and that is still decent. Verstappen picked up the win, and I want to quickly confirm if there was any rain. So if we go to the race director and look at the lap times, did the AI go for inters? No. So the rain didn't occur. So it would have been a regular one-stop race, hard to medium, sorry. So yeah. Let's look at the standings after that one. We did score some points, so we are 5th for now. Of course, Leclerc having that recovery drive, not quite able to outscore us. And yeah, things were looking good that race. Following the Mercs, that was a really good strategy. Crucially though, the gap to Perez is only 5 points, so P4 is still right there. In the Constructors, we're 5th. Mercedes extend their gap, but crucially, Aston Martin still a ways behind, and that's going to be hopefully the target we aim for in these episodes. Now, I think actually... that was a decent weekend overall, but now we're going to move into more updates, more upgrades, and see what we can do for the next race. Now, post-race, of course, we lose out again with our rivalry with Daniel Ricciardo, which we're currently down 4 points, which is a real shame because had we had this in the first 3 rounds, we would have absolutely wiped the floor with him. But again, we lose more acclaim, both drivers, so no progress being made on that front, which is a bit of a shame and a bit of a kick in the teeth. Anyway, that aside, cash payouts again. you know what? I'm surprised we actually got the AI bonus because we did DNF in the race, but clearly the sprint, we didn't have one, so maybe it counts that as a non-DNF bonus. So, a bit weird because I think we missed that goal in China. So, I don't know how that works, unless actually Chadwick DNF'd in China, as did I, whereas in the race today, Chadwick did finish, and maybe as long as one car gets to the finish line, you get that goal. If that's the case, fair play. So, post-race fallout, as always, we are going to get an inheritance of R&D points, so we'll spend those wisely. We have activities to assign, so we'll quickly run those before we move on to updates. Now, for this one, we're going to basically just spread them equally on things that I think are going to help us decently. Team morale seems to be good across the board, so we don't need any team events. So, first off, let's talk about the failure. Again, the MGUK, we've lost it. So this means it's likely now that we'll have to take a grid drop this season because of the MGUK allocation. To be fair, I can agree, I can rationalize maybe that you get recurring MGUK faults because it's a specific part you may need to work on in durability. But if we get a third failure on the MGUK, then something's wrong. Anyway, let's go for upgrades, shall we? So we had a failure in the chassis last time out. Energy store cell positioning, so we'll get that on the car ASAP. That won't be on for Imola, it'll be on for Monaco. And can we get anything else on the aerodynamics? We've got the front wing gurney flap. Can't really afford anything else here with 1,000 R&D points. What about on the chassis? We can do the roll dampers for tyre wear. Engine, cylinder head. Yeah, let's do that one. A bit of engine power never goes to miss, so we'll take that. We'll confirm that new MGUK, so unit number 3. And we'll use this old ICE for practice, but we'll put in a new ICE for the rest of the weekend in Imola. Now, I've skipped ahead on the timeline and we have a chassis department event, so let's find out what that is. Sell the land or preserve work-life balance. Now, we have a few options here in terms of what to do. This is interesting. A building firm want to purchase an area of land for us to build a new housing development. Chassis staff can use it for lunchtime walks and bird watching. Interesting. Big money. Suggest or decline. I feel like suggest might be the best option here. Anyway, we'll skip ahead on the timeline and make sure we get everything sorted out, updated and ready to go for Imola. And there we go. Right, guys, that's it. We leave things there. We go again next episode and try again. Hopefully the car holds up. Anyway, guys, cheers for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel as always. And yeah, guys, we'll see what happens in Imola. As always, a massive shout out to the members. Also, check out the 2 videos on screen for more videos like this, guys. Like the video, it really does help me out. Notifications on as well for all the content that I do post. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.